Welcome back, tribe. So today we're going to talk about the relationship math that doesn't add up because you've been told you're privileged for being a man, that you got life on easy mode, that the world is your oyster simply because you were born with a Y chromosome. You know, this mythical male privilege in modern relationships. It's that magical force that supposedly is making your life a breeze while women struggle against the patriarchal tide. Time for a reality check on all this. The modern dating landscape isn't just tilted against men, it's a goddamn vertical wall. The rules weren't just rewritten. They were shredded, burned, and replaced with a contradictory mess that somehow always ends with you footing the bill while you're being told you're the one with advantages. The most obvious double standard in this? The economics of dating. In a world supposedly obsessed with equality, why are men still expected to pay for the dates? Women now out-earn men in many metropolitan areas. Female college graduates under 30 make more than their male counterparts. But somehow that equality vanishes the moment the check hits the table. Weird, huh? And dating for women has become a part-time job with benefits. Free meals, free entertainment, free drinks. While you're dropping $150 on dinner, she's putting that same amount into her investment account. Over a year of active dating, the financial gap becomes a fucking canyon. But women spend money on makeup and clothes to look good for men. That's a bullshit rationalization they do today. Women buy makeup and clothes for themselves and other women primarily. You think that $3,000 handbag was purchased with your visual pleasure in mind? That's like saying you bought a PlayStation to entertain your girlfriend. It makes no sense. And if you suggest splitting the bill, suddenly you're cheap or not a real man. The same women posting about wage equality on Instagram are expecting you to subsidize their lifestyle like it's 1952. They want the benefits of traditional gender roles without any of the traditional responsibilities. It's cafeteria-style gender equality. Take what you like, leave what you don't. And it makes no sense. And then there's the emotional labor double standard. You're expected to be emotionally available, but not too emotional. Strong, but not vulnerable. But only the right kind of vulnerable at exactly the right time. Share your feelings, but God forbid you actually become upset because then you're fragile or toxic or worse, her panties drying up permanently because men shedding a tear gives her the ick. Meanwhile, her emotional spectrum is given infinite runway. Angry? You need to understand her feelings. Jealous? You must have done something to make her feel insecure. Irrational? Mercury must be in retrograde. Your emotions are a problem to be managed. Hers are a natural expression to be honored and respected. You're expected to be her emotional support animal while keeping your own issues carefully contained, preferably in a box that never gets opened. This emotional double standard extends beyond private moments into public perception. A woman crying in public receives immediate sympathy and support. A man in the same emotional state? Please. Discomfort, judgment, sometimes outright mockery. We claim to want men to express emotions, then punish them socially the moment that they do that. And you know that believe all women phenomenon? Remember that one? Here's how it plays out in relationships. Relationship conflict, the default assumption is that you're the problem. If she says you were insensitive, you were insensitive. End of discussion. Your perspective is secondary at best, irrelevant at worst. And this extends beyond private disagreements. Mention struggles in your relationship with friends, and you'll get, what did you do? Women discuss the same issues and get, oh honey, that's terrible. Men just don't understand. The presumption of male guilt is unwritten law of modern relationships. You're working from a deficit of trust that you can never quite overcome. It's like playing a game when the other team starts with 30 points and also gets to change the rules when they're losing. So fair, isn't it? This dynamic plays out most dangerously during breakups and divorces. A woman can make virtually any claim about your behavior with minimal evidence and watch your reputation implode overnight. The court of public opinion requires no due process, no cross-examination, and no presumption of innocence when the accused has a penis. We know this. And men have lost jobs, friends, family, relationships, and custody of their children based on unsubstantiated allegations that would never hold up in an actual court of law. But once that social judgment has been passed, the damage is done, often irreversibly. Then you got this commitment asymmetry bullshit. Talk about a rigged game. Think about it. In the old days, men had certain advantages and women had others. That system had plenty of problems, for sure. But now, women kept all their traditional advantages while ditching the traditional responsibilities. Men lost their advantages but still got stuck with all the traditional burdens. Every man feels that today. She can leave at any time for any reason or no reason at all, and she'll be celebrated for finding herself or knowing her worth. You leave, you're a commitment phobe. who couldn't handle a strong woman. And women initiate 70 to 80% of divorces, yet men are still painted as a commitment-averse gender. Makes perfect sense if you don't think about it at all. And when that divorce happens, hope you weren't too attached to your assets or your children. The family court system still operates like it's 1975, when men were the primary breadwinners and women sacrificed careers for family. Despite the massive economic and social changes since then, the courts still default to approaches that disproportionately benefit women. And even when you get joint custody on paper, the reality often looks very different. You're now paying support for children you see 4 days a month, while being expected to maintain a home suitable for them anyways. Living in a studio apartment after divorce? You're a deadbeat. She does the same. She's making best of a difficult situation. The system claims to be in the best interest of children, but somehow the best interest is almost always aligning with the mother's custody and the father paying. Men fighting for equal time with their kids are portrayed as trying to get out of financial obligations rather than, actually wanting to be fathers to their own children. Child support isn't even required to be spent on the children. That's the messed up part in this all. There's virtually no accountability for how that money gets used. It's a blank check that often funds lifestyles rather than necessities, while the paying parent struggles to keep their own lights on. And don't even get me started on the invisible safety net that women have that guys don't. I'm just being brutally honest here. You see it all the time. If a woman's struggling with money, family, friends, and organization trip over themselves to give them some help. Guys in the same situation, tough shit, bro, figure it out. Women dealing with mental issues, there's support groups, specialized resources, and general compassion abound. A man dealing with the same, man up, everyone's got problems. Women feeling unsafe, immediate concern and protection. Men feeling the same, laughter and indifference. The social support infrastructure for women dwarfs what's available to men. This isn't even debatable. It's just observable reality. Just compare to funding, the programs, the awareness campaigns, and the general social concern directed towards women's issues versus men's. Women have dedicated health offices at government levels, specialized business loans, scholarships, hiring preferences, support groups, and advocacy organizations. Men dealing with uniquely male issues find themselves in a resource wasteland, often being told their problems are actually their own for participating in, quote, toxic masculinity. So yeah, let's move on to the next shitty part of all this. Dating apps. That's a fucking nightmare today. Anybody will tell you that on both sides of the aisle. But they've created this insane situation where, the 10 to 15% of the top guys get 90% all the female attention. Your average chick now thinks she deserves the same quality man as a woman way hotter than her, just because occasionally some hot guy will swipe right on her when he's looking for an easy lay. It's basically set up a marketplace where average dudes have zero value, while average women think they're settling by dating a guy on their level. Just look at the data from all these apps. It's not even opinion. Guys swipe right on like 40 to 60% of the profiles, and women maybe 5%. It's insane. And these dating apps have essentially gamified human connection, with most men stuck playing on nightmare difficulty while being told they have all the advantages. It's like being handed a pair of scissors in a gunfight and then being called privileged because scissors sometimes cut things. What? And the attention economy has utterly transformed female dating behavior. A woman with a modest Instagram following can receive more male validation in a day than her grandmother received in a decade. This isn't just changing expectations, it's rewiring neurochemical reward systems. When hundreds of men are in your DMs offering you everything from compliments to vacations, why would you settle for an average guy who expects mutual investment? The incentive structure has shifted dramatically, creating a generation of women with completely unrealistic expectations of what relationships should provide them. We're living through the largest social experiment in human history. The complete transformation of mate selection and relationship formation with zero understanding of long-term consequences. But we're already seeing the early results. Record numbers of single people, plummeting birth rates, skyrocketing rates of loneliness and disconnection across both gender lines. The standards gap has become a Grand Canyon, guys. Women have detailed extensive lists of what they expect from their potential partners. Minimum height, income threshold, education level, conversational abilities, emotional intelligence, fashion sense, social status, on and on and on it goes. Men's requirements? Don't be dramatically overweight and be reasonable pleasant to be around. Yet somehow men are still portrayed as the shallow ones with unrealistic standards. A 5'8" average looking guy with an average income and average social skills has virtually no value in the modern dating market. A woman with equivalent looks and achievement has multiple options all at once. This isn't subjective. The data from every single dating site confirms this is a reality. And that's not even touching on the most annoying parts of all this. How it's somehow completely fine to just shit on men all day. You've seen it. Men are trash. They're printed on cute mugs, little t-shirts, kill all men, treated like it's just some funny joke and it's led up to stay on social media for years. Flip the genders for 2 seconds and watch how fast someone gets completely destroyed for saying the same thing. And media portrays men, particularly straight white men, let's be honest, as bumbling idiots, emotional children, and potential predators, rarely as complex humans deserving of empathy. And this isn't some prosecution complex. Just count the positive versus negative male portrayals in any recent TV lineup. Turn on any sitcom and watch how the husband or the father is portrayed versus the wife or the mother. He's typically incompetent, childish, and in need of her guidance. She's wise and capable and perpetually exacerbated by his bumbling. Flip those characterizations and the show would be condemned as hopelessly sexist. And you know how everyone's always talking about toxic masculinity. Notice how toxic femininity isn't even acknowledged as a concept worth exploring today. This environment has immediate and practical impacts on relationships. When media, education, and culture constantly reinforce the message that men as a group are problematic, women enter relationships with a presumption of male inadequacy and female superiority. The relationship becomes a project of fixing or training the man rather than a partnership of equals. Want to know how bad it's gotten? Men now comprise of only 40% of college students. Boys are falling behind in education at every level. Male suicide rates are through the roof, and men make up the vast majority of workplace deaths, homeless populations, and incarcerated people. Yet we're still hammering away at the narrative that men as a group are privileged and women as a group are oppressed. This education gap is particularly alarming and underreported. Women now earn the majority of these bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, and even the doctoral degrees. If this gender disparity were reversed, it would be treated as a national emergency requiring immediate intervention. Instead, it's barely mentioned. And while we continue to fund special programs to get women into the few remaining fields where they don't already dominate, you'll still hear absolutely nothing for the men's side. Oh, and if you point out any of these imbalances, you're labeled an incel, of course, a misogynist, or told that you're part of the problem. The very act of identifying these issues becomes evidence of your toxic entitlement. Isn't that insane? And this isn't about wanting to return to some imagined 1950s paradise. That had its own massive problems. This is about the complete bullshit asymmetry that exists now, where we demand equality when it benefits women, but cling to traditional gender roles when they benefit women. Real equality would mean women asking men out at equal rates, women paying for dates at equal rates, women initiating sex at equal rates, women receiving equal treatment in family courts, women being held accountable equally for their behavior, women being drafted into military service at equal rates. Go lay some bricks, sis, and go put up some roofs equally. But that's not what the current system wants. It wants the appearance of equality while maintaining female advantage. It wants to cherry pick the aspects of traditional and modern gender roles that maximize female benefit while minimizing female responsibility. The truth about male privilege in modern relationships is gaslighting on a cultural scale. You're being told that your lived experience isn't real, that your struggles are imaginary, that your disadvantages are actually advantages you're too privileged to even recognize. So what the hell do you actually do about all of this shit? And how do you not just check out completely? Well, the first thing you got to do is stop playing by the rules designed to screw you over. No more dropping hundreds on dinner for women who see you as a walking ATM. No more being some chick's emotional support animal when she offers nothing in return. No more accepting double standards just to get some female attention. Second, you got to build your value outside the validation of women themselves. Your worth isn't determined by female approval. Focus on your physical health, your financial stability, your skills, your genuine friendships, and your sense of purpose. A man who needs nothing is infinitely more powerful than a man desperate for crumbs of attention or affection. And third, remember that not all women buy into or benefit from this system. There are women that are just as equally frustrated with the current dating hellscape, equally tired of all the games, equally interested in genuine connection. They tend not to be the loudest voices on social media, of course, or the most active profiles on dating apps if they have any at all. AKA, you won't see these women online. That's why they're hard to find. And then fourth, maintain standards and boundaries that reflect genuine self-respect. The man who accepts disrespect to maintain female presence in his life isn't being tolerant. He's participating in his own devaluation. Better to be alone than to be a doormat with a girlfriend. Fifth, understand that the entire system is designed to make you feel inadequate, so you'll spend money trying to compensate. Dating apps need you to feel insufficient, so you'll pay for premium features. Consumer brands need you to feel insufficient, so you'll buy products to impress women. Even relationship advice often geared towards making you feel broken, so you'll buy courses, books, or coaching. I'm not saying you should hate women. Many of them are caught in this system too, fed the same kind of narratives that make them miserable in the long run. They got their own issues to deal with. This is about recognizing reality, about acknowledging actual power dynamics at play rather than the fictional ones we were sold. Here's something people will never tell you. The dude who gets this stuff isn't angry. He's free. He moves through relationships with his eyes wide open, sets real boundaries, keeps his dignity, and refuses to participate in exchanges that treat him like garbage. He doesn't waste energy fighting a system that's designed against him. He just refuses to play along with the bullshit. He builds his value, his resources, his body, and his mind. And he creates opinions for himself instead of hoping for fairness in a game that's totally rigged. Because the real privilege isn't being born a male. It's having the clarity to see things as they actually are, not as you've been told that they should be. And that, my friends, is today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, please leave a comment down below. And as usual, boys, we'll see you on the next one. Shout outs to everybody in the private community. If you enjoy these kinds of topics and would like to discuss them with us, we have calls every single day of the week, and we'd love to have you. Take care, guys. And we'll see you on the next one.